what time is it right now? Story time. Story time with Uncle Scotty. We have our own mugs. Hydration is important. Wow. I just washed my hands. Did you wash your hands? Gotta wash your hands for story time. Makes a lot of sense. If you want to pause it and wash your hands, you can. Maybe you just washed your hands. Hey, maybe you remember, we've been reading James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. We're just up to the point to where James dropped a bunch of magic beans and pellets into the ground and they disappeared. And then the two ants went over to the tree and they saw this peach for the very first time on this tree that never had any fruit. And not only that, the peach is huge. And not only that, the peach keeps getting bigger and bigger. So we're gonna find out what happens next today. But first, we have some more feedback from some of our popular viewers. Some of our most popular viewers, our famous viewers. Shout out to young Isla out there, and checking out a little bonus story time at home. I see you, Isla. I appreciate you. Also, Truman from Los Angeles, California, just read this book. That's great. Congratulations, True. Hopefully this is the second ride. Maybe the second time is as good as the first. That's my hope. You know, you can let me know how you think and how you feel about all that. And then Brian in Texas says, pass. Not interested. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. That said, with my glasses on, can't see anything without these glasses. Oh, that's better. It's much better now. And let's see what happens next in James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. Okay, here we are. Bookmarks are important. They mark your book. Sponsored post. Chapter 7. I was thinking of a joke that I heard earlier. Chapter 7. The two women and the small boy stood absolutely still on the grass underneath the tree, gazing up at this extraordinary fruit. James's little face was glowing with excitement. His eyes were as big and bright as two stars. He could see the peach swelling larger and larger, as clearly as if it were a balloon being blown up. In half a minute, it was the size of a melon. In another half minute, it was twice as big again. Just look at it growing, Aunt Spiker cried. Will it ever stop? Aunt Sponge shouted, waving her fat arms and starting to dance around in circles. And now it was so big, it looked like an enormous butter-colored pumpkin dangling from the top of a tree. Get away from that tree trunk, you stupid boy, Aunt Spiker yelled. That's not very nice language. We shouldn't use language like Miss Spiker or whatever. She doesn't deserve our attention. The slightest shake and I'm sure it'll fall off. It must weigh 20 or 30 pounds at least. The branch that the peach was growing on was beginning to bend over further and further because of the weight. Stand back, Aunt Sponge shouted. It's coming down! The branch is going to break! But the branch didn't break. It simply bent over more and more as the peach got heavier and heavier. And still, it went on growing. In another minute, this mammoth fruit was as large and round as Aunt Sponge herself, and probably just as heavy. It has to stop now, Aunt Spiker yelled. It can't go on forever. But it didn't stop. Soon it was the size of a small car, and reached halfway to the ground, canned soup. Both ants were now hopping around. Both ants were now hopping around and around the tree, clapping their hands and shouting all sorts of silly things in their excitement. Hallelujah! Aunt Spiker shouted. What a peach! What a peach! Terrifico! Aunt Sponge cried out. Magnifico! Splendifico! And what a meal! It's still growing! I know! As for James, he was so spellbound by the whole thing that he'd only stand and stare and murmur quietly to himself. Oh, isn't it beautiful? It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Shut up, you little twerp! Also, not nice language to use. Aunt Spiker snapped, happening to overhear him. It's none of your business. That's right, Aunt Sponge declared. It's got nothing to do with you whatsoever. Keep out of it. Look, Aunt Spiker shouted. It's growing faster than ever now. It's speeding up.
I see it, Spiker. I do.
Bigger and bigger grew the peach. Bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Then at last, when it had become nearly as tall as the tree it was growing on, as tall and wide, in fact, as a small house, the bottom part of it gently touched the ground. And there it rested.
It can't fall off now,
Aunt Sponge shouted. It stopped growing, Aunt Spiker cried.
No, it hasn't.
Yes, it has.
It's slowing down, Spiker. It's slowing down, but it hasn't stopped yet. You watch it.
There was a pause.
It has now.
I believe you're right.
Do you think it's safe to touch it?
I don't know. We better be careful. So here you can see how big that peach is. This is a tree. Look at that huge peach. Here's Aunt Spiker. Boo. Here's Aunt Sponge. Boo. But look, you know how big Aunt Sponge is. We learned how big she is. Look how big the peach is. It's even bigger. Some might say it's huge. Some might say it's giant. Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker began walking slowly around the peach, inspecting it very cautiously from all sides. They were like a couple of hunters who had just shot an elephant and were not quite sure whether it was dead or alive. And the massive round fruit towered over them so high that they looked like tiny people from another world beside it. The skin of the peach was very beautiful, a rich, buttery yellow with patches of brilliant pink and red, much like our logo. A rich, buttery yellow with patches of brilliant pink and red. Aunt Sponge advanced cautiously and touched it with the tip of one finger. It's ripe. Sorry, what is, oh yeah.
It's ripe,
She cried.
It's just perfect. Now, see here, Spiker. Why don't we go and get us a shovel right away and dig out a great big hunk of it for you and me to eat?
No, Aunt Spiker said. Not yet.
Whatever not?
Because I say so.
But I can't wait to eat some,
Aunt Sponge cried out. She was watering in the mouth now, and a thin trickle of spit was running down one side of her chin. My dear Sponge, Aunt Spiker said slowly, winking at her sister, and smiling a sly, thin-lipped smile. There's a pile of money to be made out of this, if only we handle it right. You wait and see. And we will wait and see what happens next when we're back next time. That is story time with Uncle Scotty. Hydration is important. We have our own mugs. Sleep well. Enjoy your day. Don't forget to wash your hands every chance you get. Every time you see some water, wash your hands. Why not? Sounds fun. Okay. Bye.